man. Where do we even start on this one? First off, welcome to the video. We're doing a video about Contra Rogue Core. It's a little bit review, a little bit kind of overview, and some more in-depth talk about the multiplayer. If you're here for just the review part, we're going to get to that first. And if you're here for the multiplayer discussion, that'll be towards the end. And other than that, we're just going to kind of get into this. I don't want to call it a mess. It's a hot mess. There we go. We're going to get into this hot mess. So, whether you are an old school boomer like me and you've been playing Contra since you were, single digits, or you're new to the franchise, however you came across this game, you might be asking yourself, what the fuck? And that's absolutely how this game feels. So first off, Contra is traditionally basically I've always considered it the first co-op shooter. I mean, literally, it's the first game that had co-op and shooting, and that was the goal. So, simple concept, it's existed throughout video games, and it shouldn't be hard to execute, and it really isn't. Traditionally, it is a side-scrolling 2D or 3D side-scrolling sort of adventure with sort of a faux first-person view in some areas and a couple camera angle changes here and there. That's the typical Contra. This is a sort of isometric top-down stick shooter. I stumbled upon this game because I was looking for something for me and my family to get together on the couch and play. It's been a while since we've had something that we could play on one screen as opposed to buying 4 copies of and playing online separately. So that's how I found this game. It is a twin-stick top-down shooter, basically, and it is sort of a mix of like a Crimson Land and a Diablo, I would say. And you basically go through the levels, you collect loot, you upgrade your characters, you upgrade your weapons, you get all kinds of loot, and you mod your actual character and things like that. And overall, it is a solid game. By all means, it's pretty solid. It has a few weird things. The biggest gripe is honestly that it just doesn't explain itself at all. There's a lot of aspects that you're gonna just not know what you're doing. All the customization, like the modding and building weapons and all the things you pick up, all the buffs and little materials and whatnot, they just throw it all at you and they never properly explain it. And I'm here to tell you that I looked up everything I could to try to figure out this game, and there's no content either. So I might have just found a place to make some new content explaining this game as I figure it out myself. But it's pretty basic. As far as the like I said, the overall game goes, it's Contra, but it's in 3D, and it's got some aspects that you're really going to enjoy if you can get past just the weirdness of it. I mean, like, the gameplay itself is fine. It's just weird because it doesn't explain itself to you very well. Everything else works. I love it. We've been enjoying it and playing it non-stop since I got it, and as far as the game goes, it's solid. So that's my review. As far as the Contra game goes, like, if you're some weird hardcore Contra fan and it needs to be like 2D and side-scrolling, I'm sorry, this ain't your game. But like, if you just like shooting aliens and having ridiculous weapons and power-ups and like over-the-top shit, then this is a great game. They nailed every aspect of it, so it's fine. It even has a PvP, which is really interesting, and I'd love to play it. However, there's no matches because nobody plays the fucking game. So there is a PvP, but you can't play it because there's nobody to play with, unless you have friends who are also playing the game and have the game, and you can play it online with them. Otherwise, good luck. Getting into the story mode, It's pretty complex so far. There's a lot of missions. There's a lot of like parts to the missions and different types of missions. And then you just play them. And they have ranks, you know. You get S classes, A classes, B classes. You want to get the S class on every rank. So you just play it and keep leveling up and upgrading until you can do better and better. And that's the game. So I honestly, like, if it was a score, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's got like 3 things I don't like, and then the rest is great. But let's get into like why I got the game and why you may be here, because honestly, if you ask me, this game might be the couch co-op sleeper hit of, I don't know, ever, maybe. Because nobody's playing it, nobody's making videos, nobody's making content, nobody's talking about it. But as far as like a couch game goes in 2021, there hasn't been very much. And this is a great offering because it gives you everything that, you know, a solo, like a Destiny or a Diablo or, you know, a more fleshed out solo game would give you. It has it right here on the couch. So let's get the first like weird part about co-op out of the way. The co-op is it's its own separate mode, and you're only playing the exploration style missions that there are in the story. So there's like 7 exploration missions, and those are what are co-op. Now, when you play co-op, you're playing it as the host. The first player is the host, and everybody else can log in, and you're under your profile name, but all the loot and the data and everything goes to the host player, and the hub world, the base camp hub world, is the home player, the host, you know. They control everything. So basically, you play through the levels, you beat it, if you beat it, and you get to keep your loot, and then you use that loot when you go back to base camp, and you get everybody decked out and upgraded, and you get everything worked out, and then you go to the next mission, and everybody, you know, their characters are decked out because you get to control everything. The first person player gets to control everything about co-op. Now, second weird thing about co-op is to unlock the levels to play in co-op, I still haven't figured it out. So, we unlocked the first one, and we've played it a bunch of times and beat it a bunch of times on every difficulty, including Contra, which is the hardest. Still didn't unlock another one. We played through the story mode so far, up to 3 missions, which is about like 15 different actual smaller missions, and still has not unlocked a new mission. However, it did unlock the last co-op mission, which is the hardest one there is, and we can't even get past the first like screen. So there are like 5 missions that say to unlock it, clear question mark, and doesn't tell you what mission to complete. So I assume you have to complete the single player story mode, and you can do that online co-op, but you cannot do it locally co-op. You cannot combine local and online co-op in any way with this game. However, you can play the story campaign missions co-op online, and that's a little bit of a weird drawback, but it has to do with the way the camera angles work, because in the campaign missions the camera angles are different, and they don't really lend themselves well to 4 players on the screen at once. So, if you can figure out how to unlock the co-op missions, or you know specifically what to do to unlock all of them, please, if you're watching this, comment in the comments and let me know, because at this point I only have the first one and the last one, and I'm still working my way through the story missions and trying to get S rank on all of them, because I know at least one mission says it requires a certain amount of S rank medals. So, the co-op itself, though, it's fucking awesome. Like, it's a loot grind, it's a boss grind, you get crazy weapons, you get all kinds of cool stuff to do, and we love it. We've been doing it for hours. The only drawback is that it's weird, and it doesn't tell you how to do anything, and to unlock more missions, we haven't figured that out yet. Otherwise, great. local couch game. I think it might be the best local couch game I've ever played in recent times, and it brings together all that like great feeling. The bosses, the levels, it gets chaotic. The harder the difficulty, you know, obviously the more chaotic it gets, the more like crazy weapons you have and powers going. Like it gets fun. We have had a blast. There's been times that we get so mad because we can't get past the screen, but then there's other times that we just destroy everything and it's fun. And you rank up, and like I said, you level up, you get new weapons, you're always getting new stuff and building new stuff and upgrading your stuff. And that changes it, because then you go back in and what once was really hard is now super easy, and that always feels good. But there's always another challenge around the corner, and so like it itself very well. The missions are huge. Like it's not just like a jump in, jump out, one and done, you're gone. It's like each of the multiplayer missions is like a you go through one section, which is huge. It might be like 3 parts. Then you get to a rest point where you can go back to base camp and keep your loot, or you can keep going. And if you keep going, there's 4 overall parts. And then once you get through all 4, the last thing is like a big boss and a loot room. And you get the loot room and you get a bunch of great shit, and then you get out and you go back to base camp and you hook everybody up, and hopefully you got like some really good shit or something cool. Otherwise you just rinse and repeat. And if you have more missions, it's gonna have even more and more replay. But as of right now, we've only got the one that we can do, and we've only got the other one, which is the final one, and it's so hard that you can't, like, we can't do it at all, even on easy. Like, for example, when you do a co-op mission, the first thing you do when you start the mission is you have to place a bet. Well, that's another annoying thing. I'm sorry I didn't mention it. That in co-op, you're using the credits in the game that you get to bet on the mission. So if you fail, you lose that money. But if you succeed, you make more. So that's another drawback. But you make that in solo. So if you're wanting to play co-op and you're having trouble, take turns playing solo missions with your friends that you're trying to play with. Take turns going through some solo missions, make some money, make some, weapons and upgrades and stuff. And then you can go into co-op and start, playing that and not having to worry about how much money it's going to cost. Also, don't worry about wasting materials or anything like that. Like weapon parts, like a weapon core or whatever, keep it if you, like, I'm going to build that. But otherwise, sell it and then go play. So that's the only drawback to that. Other drawback to that is that, like, there's a weird money credit system that you have to use for co-op missions. However, that means you choose the difficulty of the co-op mission and you spend money betting whether you can make it or not. So the first level, it's easy, is 200 credits. Not a big deal at all. And Contra mode is 3,500. Not a big deal at all. On the other mission we have available, the Chaos Finale, the easy mode is like 25,000 credits. And it's that difficult. So we haven't even been able to do that yet. And we're still trying to, like, play through the solo. However, overall, said and done, the game is great. You just got to pick at it to play it and figure it out. And you got to spend a lot of time playing solo or playing online co-op in the story mode to unlock all of the co-op features. And then you'll be good to go. There are some, like, DLC skin packs. I assume there is a possibility of this game getting more content. It's on the Switch, it's on Xbox, so I mean it's got 3 platforms at least to support it. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, great game. I love it. It's got some weird shit. Get over it. It's a great game. If you're trying to get your family to play something with you and everybody under the same fucking console like I am, because these days we don't all have a dining room table and a living room TV to gather around and watch the stories or have a grand old meal together. But video games can bring everyone together, and this is one that really I think really shines if you get past the weirdness of it If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you're not a sub, hit that subscribe button. I make a lot of different content. I do a lot of like reviews. I do a lot of weird shit. I'm all over the place, but you can look at my playlist. You can look at my video list, see if I make content about games you like. I do funny shit, or at least I think it's funny. I do a lot of different stuff, so check that out if you would. Thanks for watching. And oh yeah, this game was like $40 right now, so it's not even like a full price game. I think if you can get it on sale, that is a fucking deal, and you should do it. Otherwise, I've already made my $40 out of it just because of the fun I've had with my family, and that you can't put a price on having a good time with friends and family. So there you go. Love you guys. Bye.